It's probably next to impossible not to come out of this last weekend and not talk about the kneel. So unless you've been living under a rock and you don't know really what's going on, there's been a uptick in conversation about what started as Colin Kaepernick of the NFL kneeling during the national anthem to talk about social justice and racial equality. The rhetoric of this moved up a whole new notch when the President of the United States came out and basically suggested that those players who were kneeling during the national anthem were disrespectful, and basically came out and said they should be fired. And this erupted all through social media and the interwebs over the weekend and got everybody thinking about it, and everybody's opinion started coming up. And like you, my news feed was just blowing up with different things and different opinions of people saying it's patriotic, you have to stand, it's you're disrespecting the people who serve in the military, you're disrespecting the country, you should stand. And then others were saying, no, now what they're doing is this is expanded far past racial injustice and social justice. Now this is in defiance of a person who they believe is saying this out of a racial insensitivity, hate. The president has already been called a white supremacist, but has certainly been allowing for white supremacy and this kind of this kind of tension-filled alt-right folks to have a greater voice and a greater visual representation because they're on the news all the time. So they're back and forth between the two, where everybody stands. And like most folks, people have been asking me about what I think about this, and as you could probably tell from this video, this is one of these that I did not think up ahead. I just wanted to put the video on and just sort of give my thoughts after hearing and seeing everything over the weekend. So I'm going to do my best on this. So first things first, there's sort of like you have to have your street cred introduced on here. I'm from a family that has a great deal of our family members who were in the military or are serving right now. And that matters to me, and that matters to how I was shaped and how I thought about what it was to be an American and what it means to have love and respect for our country. And I think those things are important. However, I also had an incredible mom and an amazing family of aunts and uncles who all told me from a very early age that the strength of us is in our free will and thinking and being able to see issues and see problems and tackle them head on. And I've said this many times before, I'm pretty sure that it's built within my DNA why I love the nonprofit sector and why I love to work with organizations that are making a difference in communities across the country. I think it was instilled in me from such an early age that there's no other place that I'd rather be and no other thing that I'd rather do than work with nonprofiteers around the country. So I think these things have sort of fueled who I am and have helped me define what I think and believe. And I don't think I'm any different from many people about this. But here's the thing that I think we're missing right now. Ever since 9/11, it's always been here, but ever since 9/11, there has been an uptick in patriotism, and there's been an uptick in this, symbolic nature of what patriotism means, and you have to stand together. And I think we've been conflating it over the years between patriotism, love of country, and symbolic patriotism, the love of the symbols, and I think we're at a point now where this is coming head on in this particular conversation. Context, firstly. Again, Colin Kaepernick, who started this and was taking a knee during the national anthem, simply was saying that there was racial inequality and there was these cases back and forth around the country of police brutality and police officers who were acquitted of things that to many lay people just looked obvious, like this was a problem. He was speaking to that, but he was only showing it in the way that he could because of his celebrity. Very much like celebrities across TV, film, music, speaking their mind in a particular venue, especially a venue where they have a lot of eyes on them. And so he picked that as something that he did, and some others sort of grew it, but it wasn't so massive and disruptive and it wasn't meant to be a major thing to disrupt the flow of the introduction of the game or anything. He was just doing it. Then all this happened, and now you have many teams doing this, where you have the Pittsburgh Steelers, for example, who were in the tunnel with their hands over their hearts. They just literally weren't outside just to be able to see them, save one, a former a vet who stood out a little bit, one of their linemen. But this thing has sort of changed the complexion of this conversation to the point where I think people are forgetting even how this started. He didn't start, and everybody is not kneeling because they're anti-American. Colin Kaepernick sat down and took a knee because he was thinking that there was racial injustice in our policies and procedures around this country. Not that he disliked America. And probably more to the point, to me, the strength of America and what I love so much about what we are and who we are is that we believe in protecting the rights of the dissent. Those that are dissenting and those that don't have the majority or are not in power. That's the strength of our democracy. Go anywhere else in the world, and even having a debate like this could cause real problems, not dislike and unfriend problems. I mean real problems, jail, death. So when I'm asked what my thoughts are, I usually start with something like, I myself would not do it. I would not, it wouldn't even dawn on me to want to do this, to kneel down during the national anthem. But again, because of my background, history, and just my personal feeling that I just wouldn't. On the other hand, I will defend to the very last breath those people who want to. I will defend their right to do so, because that, to me, is what makes our country great. And I know I'm gonna get backlash on this, and I'm gonna get people saying that's unpatriotic and that it is, but I believe that our democracy, the spirit of our country, is not just about, see this flag right here? It's not just about the symbolism of our country. It is the values of our country. The greatest thing about our democracy is that folks can question this symbol, and folks can doubt, and folks can put their dissent publicly and privately, and they can question what our government leaders, what our community leaders do. I think that's the strength of our country. I'm more concerned about when dissent is muted or pushed to the side, because that's the beginning of a real problem. Now, guys, this is just my opinion, and I would love to hear yours. So if you want to send me an email right here, doug@connectthedotsmovement.org. You can also like and share this video and send out a comment on there as well. We're on facebook.com/connectthedotsmovement. We're also on Twitter, and you can hit me at WeConnectDots. So, guys, that's just my take. I hope you do appreciate it. And I said I really wanted to just do this off the cuff and not have this any sort of planned or notes or anything. I just wanted to sort of share my thoughts on this after coming out of this weekend with so many conversations and so many things happening in our country today. I just think that the most important thing that we should always look, the overarching thing about all these things that were happening right now in our country's history, is we cannot downplay our conversations. We are too much in these circular firing squads or these thought bubbles where we're not getting out of our own way. We're only talking to folks that we believe in so inherently that we're not listening to other sides, and we're not listening to dissent. And somewhere in the dissent will be conversation points, and that's what I think we need to make sure happens. So even on this very divisive issue, I think it's just important that we share and we tell our thoughts. So that's just mine. That's just my opinion. I'm DK. I'm a Connect the Dots Movement. Keep on connected. Nonprofit power.